There's got to be one chapter that opens with something easy, so I can be like, just go to the top of chapter whatever. I'm going to soon abandon this, and I'm going to edit so much of this out. What's good? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Newest Olympian. My name is Mike Schubert. I'm the titular Newest Olympian. I'm a grown man who never read the Percy Jackson books as a kid, but I read them as an adult because I was on a quest to determine if society had been sleeping on the series. I said yes, and now I'm seeing if society's also been sleeping on the Heroes of Olympus series. And I am not on this quest alone. I'm never on this quest alone. I'm joined by someone who has been on the pod many a time, and then also has been intertwined within every episode as our editing ghost. If you are a listener of Professional Talkers, you will know her as Sherry Guos, but if you are a TNO person, which you are, I guess if you're listening to this one, you definitely know her as Sherry Guo. Sherry, how's it going?
Hello, it's going well.
I am glad to hear it.
I'm no longer going to be in this apartment after like a month, so I'm very happy because there's been so much construction over the past several months. It's been so lovely to wake up every day at 7 a.m. from drilling.
Look, as someone who gets woken up at 7 a.m. from a noise, at least my noise is a cute little toddler and not construction. At least, you know, the waking up early is not fun, but then reading children's books is fun.
If there's any strange rumbling ambiance in my audio, just know that's what it is. The building right behind my building is being demolished. The building in front of it is going up, and work is being done on all sides of the building itself.
I personally can't hear it on the call, so I hope the power of the editing software, if anything, will clear it out.
The microphone's also tilted away from the window, so hopefully the sounds just aren't coming in, and it's just coming in through my ears.
This is the sound production that you expect from a Sherry Guo, Mike Schubert production, and I'm very excited to cover these chapters because they are very intense and fun, and I got chills reading them. But before we get into it, you currently had caught up on all of the guest questions because you've been on so many times. Sorry, the questions, because I think someone...
Oh, wow.
Right? I think someone said that in the subreddit. I'll have to search for question really quick, but I do want to give a shout out to...
I love puns, so it's great. I intentionally mispronounced my last name because I think Sherry Guo is better branding and it's better for puns.
I think I've asked you, but what's like the actual way?
The Mandarin pronunciation, well, I can't really do it that well because the tones are hard, but it's more like Guo. So it's not like a Guo, it's like more of like a GWUH is like how I would phonetically spell it out.
Okay.
But I think Guo is just like, it punches better.
Yeah, it hits
Especially
harder.
Because like Sherry, like the stress is on the first syllable. I feel like Guo has like a punchier ending to my name, especially because I don't have a middle name.
Whoa.
It's just 3 syllables, 9 letters.
That's good. It hits. That hits. Are you sure you don't want to add a middle name so that you can distinguish yourself from Sherry Guo, the person who infamously got caught doing academic dishonesty at
at
MIT?
Yale? It wasn't academic dishonesty. It was when the Varsity Blues scandal was happening.
Yeah.
There was like some girl named Sherry Guo who was like a few years older than me, who like supposedly like her parents bought her way into Yale. And it was on some like Chinese tabloid website, but of course like my parents are all on WeChat, and someone sent it to them like, is this your daughter? Because they'd used like my Facebook profile picture to be like, this Sherry Guo, and I was like, what? Like, I didn't get into Yale, like we didn't buy our way in, like we don't have that kind of money.
Yeah,
we're not like Lori, whatever her name was, the one who bought her daughter into USC.
Oh yeah, what's
Laughlin?
her face?
Was that her name?
Couldn't tell you. I'm so glad I can't tell you. I love not knowing a lot of things about celebrities. It makes me really happy. But I got to give a shout out to the person on the subreddit, ConstantAd8002, who suggested a possible returning guest question. They said, if you had a giant counterpart, since all the giants are, you know, anti-Poseidon or anti-Athena, what would your giant be? So what would the anti-Sherry be?
So the answer would be my sister. Because we're like opposite personalities. My sister, she's very like bus, club, another club, no sleep. That's literally really her energy. She's in med school right now, and she has exams every other week. The weekends she doesn't have an exam to study for, she is out clubbing 50% of the weekend, I think. Sometimes I got a text from her that's like, Wednesday at 7 a.m., still at the club from last night. And I was like, don't you have class? She was like, oh, I stopped going to class. They record all the lectures, and the professors are usually bad. You just like get a mixed bag of who's going to be teaching. So I use all these third-party resources now that are much better, and it saves me time because I can watch them in 2 times speed.
Wow. She also is really into football, and you're not a sports person.
Yes, my sister's a bro, you know.
She's Sherry Bro.
Yes, she's Erica Bro.
Erica Bro.
And she like loves the Baltimore Ravens. In elementary school, she got really into football, and she got my parents into football. So we're a football family. And I used to know more about football. I've forgotten the most recent time I talked with her about football. I was like, oh, did they change their like costume colors? Because I forgot they were called uniforms.
Costume.
But she lived in Baltimore for 2 years after graduating. And both those years, the Ravens did really well. So she like preemptively took off the like day after the Super Bowl from work to be like, they're going to win. Like the other like division, like both their teams, the Ravens have beaten this season. They really only have to get past the Kansas City Chiefs, and they beat them earlier in the regular season. So they're making it to the Super Bowl and they're winning. Well, both years, unfortunately, Travis Kelce did bring that team to the Super Bowl and win. So we have beef with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce now.
I'm actually going to counter. I'm going to say, fortunately, he did that, because one of those years was the year that we had a live show for TNO that you guessed it on, scheduled in Baltimore on Super Bowl Sunday. And
my sister was
idea.
Still taking the day off of work to sulk because she didn't get to party in the streets because she was like ready for that celebratory parade, because the last time the Ravens won the Super Bowl was the one year we didn't live in Baltimore. And she was like, I cannot believe we're stuck in Miami. The Dolphins are terrible and I should be partying in the streets. Like, I want to be like climbing a greased pole. And she genuinely considered driving up to Philly to be like, well, the Eagles won, so should I just celebrate there? It's another bird team.
Yeah, East Coast bird team, sure. I mean, look, she's playing with fire by taking the day off. Like, that, as me, baseball superstitious boy, like, absolutely cannot. Like, my beloved 2025 NBA Cup champion New York Knicks are currently in the playoffs right now as we record this on May 8th, and things are looking good. But, like, I'm not tweeting a lot. I'm not posting a lot. Like, I am very intentionally wearing only Knicks shirts and socks on game day, like I'm doing today. I'm wearing a Walt Frazier shirt, but, like, I don't know. I can't. That is, you can't tempt fate. You can't tempt fate like that.
I'm honestly surprised now that you're saying that she did it twice in a row.
Yeah, I don't know, man. After the first time it failed, you got to stop. You are the reason. Like, how can you not live with the guilt of like, I am the reason they lost. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
We already kind of had beef with Taylor Swift, and then the Super Bowl happened, and she was like, okay, like, I'm totally done with her. Like, I have no goodwill towards her anymore.
It's not her fault that her boyfriend's, fiancés. Are they married yet? Husband? Just fiancé.
Who knows? I think just stopped
fiancé.
following
I think just fiancé.
Celebrity gossip.
Oh, look, good. That's where you want to be. Everything I learn about celebrities is against my will. It's all just things that creep through that I don't want to know. Here's what I do want to know about Percy Jackson. So let's get into it. We're going to be covering...
Oh, wait. Yes, to go back to the question, the reason that my sister would be like my opposite is because I do not like the club. It just is not for me, and that's okay. My sister's also a morning person. I'm not a morning person. I would much rather have a chill night in with my friends. And I like going to the art museums, the ballet, the opera, going to tap dance classes.
You're Timothée Chalamet's worst nightmare.
Yes. Not that my sister doesn't like the arts, but she's much more engaged in sports.
Sure, which is a form of art.
The clubbing lifestyle, which, Miami's a good city for her. She very much fits that personality.
There you go. It's all working out. It's great. I love it. Fantastic answer. Let's get into these chapters. You called dibs on these many, many moons ago, and I'm glad it has worked out. We're going to be covering chapters 46 through 48 of the House of Hades, and I can understand why, because these are delicious. They are phenomenal. So where we last left our heroes, Percy was with Annabeth and Big Bob and Small Bob, and Bob was bringing them to Ackley's, I'm guessing is the pronunciation. I don't know if you know or the audiobook wilds
says
out.
Ackles. That's all I'm going to say.
I did some quick Googling, and it says that it seems to be Ackley's, or some things are saying Ackley's, but I think since it's AKH, I'm going to say Ackley's, and we'll check in with Dr. Moya to see if I did that wrong. Now, I did just Google Ackley's because I figured that would do the pronunciation, and it brought up a band, like a very intense metal band, and then it also says Marketa Erglova, so maybe it's like a one-person led kind of band, and it just seems like really metal, like more
that checks
metal
out with the vibe
than I
of the
can
character.
handle. Yeah. I'm assuming the inspiration was that Achilles is the goddess of misery, but that is like the most metal band I have ever seen. So if you're in the very common Venn diagram overlap of intense metalhead and TNO fan, do it. There's at least one person out there that's like, bro, Achilles is so good. You got to listen. You got to do it. I hope I get an email. That'd be so fun. I would love to get an email being like, trust me, listen to this song. Anyway, let's get into it. So it opens chapter 46 with, quote, if the sobbing ghoul was Bob's idea of help, Percy was pretty sure he didn't want it. And at first, an egg on my face here, I was like, oh, Percy, come on. Like, you absolutely need this. This person is going to prove to be very helpful. Uh-oh. I mean, yes and no, but maybe Percy's instincts weren't horrendously off base, seeing what happens in a couple of chapters. Bob progresses and addresses Achilles. She raises her head, and Percy gets sick to his stomach. As the narrator, he says, quote, her body was bad enough. She looked like the victim of a famine. Limbs like sticks, swollen knees and knobbly elbows, rags for clothes, broken fingernails and toenails. Dust was caked on her skin and piled on her shoulders as if she'd taken a shower at the bottom of an hourglass. Her face was utter desolation. Her eyes were sunken in roomy. Roomy, I don't think is a word I've ever seen before in my life.
Great adjective.
And this isn't just because I have the British PDF. This is like a word people know about.
I don't know what version of the PDF I have.
Okay. Is the word color in there?
What do you mean the word color?
Oh, because if
color,
it's...
yes.
Is it color or color? That's how you would know.
Where's color?
Control F. Are you on a very legal PDF or?
Yes.
Control F. COLO.
No, I must have the British one.
Because it's color or is it color?
I can't find the word. I don't know where it is.
Can you not control F for COLOR?
But I don't see color either.
Oh, both color. So you have this weird unsearchable PDF? Sounds very legal.
Yeah, I can't highlight any words.
Oh.
So I think these are pictures.
Whoa, very interesting. Okay, go to the very beginning of chapter. I'm not going to read like the contents of it, but it's chapter Roman numeral 72. LXXII, because the second line has the word center in it.
Center TER. I have the American PDF.
Okay, cool. So roomy is in both of them.
It is in both.
I've never heard or seen this word before. Maybe I'm the weird one. Never, ever, ever have I seen it.
I don't know if I've necessarily heard or seen it before, but I could figure out from, like rheumatic fever.
Okay, I haven't heard of that. But yes,
I think that's just allergies, like a fancy word for allergies.
Hey, it's Mike from the future here with an audio note from Editing Sherry of the past.
Turns out I was thinking of hay fever. Hay fever is a fancy way to say allergies. Rheumatic fever is a much more serious issue that can happen after strep throat, apparently.
Anyway, back to the podcast.
Can you tell I do a lot of WebMD in my time? This is why I love that I have a sister in medical school.
Yeah.
Any questions I have, I just like, hey, girl.
It's really good. Kelly's brother is in residency. That helps. Obviously, you got Dr. Stephen Parra. We have an arsenal of people that we can text. But yeah, roomy just means moist and watery, and it's usually to describe eyes. So that's what the internet's saying. So here we are. Cool. Learn something new every day. Her eyes were sunken in roomy, pouring out tears. Her nose dripped like a waterfall. Her stringy gray hair was matted to her skull in greasy tufts. And
Lovely.
Her cheeks were raked and bleeding as if she'd been clawing herself. Oh.
What a description.
Thanks, Rick. Now I have that visual in my head forever.
I'm imagining taking a shower in sand instead of water and stepping out looking like that.
Yeah, I mean, valid, completely valid. Percy cannot meet her gaze, so he looks down and he sees at her knees a shield with a painting of Achilles holding the same shield. So it's got that infinity mirror effect where it's just going on and on and on. And then Annabeth goes, that shield, it's his, with his in italics. I thought it was just a story. And I just wrote in my notes in all caps, oh no, whatever this is, it's bad. Whatever's happening here is not good. Now, Achilles cries out that the shield was given to her by Hercules because of course it was. He painted her on it so that his enemies would see her, the goddess of misery, in their final moments. So this feels of the same vein of the shield that's got Medusa on it, Aegis.
Yeah.
It feels in that kind of space. Let me intimidate my enemies. So I get it.
I kind of love that the intimidating ones are always women instead of men.
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
Girl power.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Girl power. I mean, look, men fear nothing more than a strong, independent woman.
Exactly.
Obviously. Percy asks why Hercules' shield is here, and the narrator Percy lets us know that her cheeks are dripping blood, and that's quite the visual to go along with the tears running down her face. And then Achilles explains that the shield appeared here when Hercules' mortal body was burned. She thinks it's a reminder that no shield can fully protect you, and in the end, misery gets us all, even Hercules. Whew. The vibes. She is really living up to her name immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Listening to her speak, Percy can understand why Achilles clawed her own cheeks. She just radiates pure pain. Percy tells Bob, we shouldn't have come here. And small Bob mews, but in my PDF says muse with an L. It said small Bob mewled. Was that in yours as well?
Mine as well, the American PDF.
Okay. Is that normal? I'm not a cat owner. Never have been. Never will be. What is mewing with an L? Is that different? Is that just another way to say it? Is that the past tense of mew? I've never heard of mule.
I just figured there was another way to say meow, like,
okay,
instead of like a meow.
Okay.
Maybe more of like like a scared, like,
Now, the internet is saying that a mule is like a weaker, more high-pitched whimpering one. Like it's more of a distressed mew.
Yeah, that checks
That's
out.
what Reddit is telling me. That feels about right. If I was going to trust anyone with cat information, it would be Reddit. So yeah, look at how much we are learning today. Small Bob mews in agreement, which I guess would make sense because he is in distress and not enjoying where they are right now. The book says, quote, the Titan shifted and winced as if Small Bob was clawing his armpit. Achilles controls the death mist, he insisted. She can hide you. And I can relate to the wincing with the clawing because sometimes when my daughter wants to have comfort, she will pinch at my neck or wherever else her hand is. And her nails can be sharp. And sometimes she can really, really cut you. So I understand this situation.
My parents have a cat, so I do know about that from the cat owning perspective.
Felix, right?
Yes, Felix.
Yeah. Shout out to Felix. Said many good things about Felix whilst I had a cat related sponsor going on, but they don't sponsor the show anymore. So no free ads. They don't do it. Shout out to, at the time of recording, Quince and no one else. But Achilles asks, why would I hide them? Why would I hide these demigods? Bob says, because they have to arrive at the doors of death to return to the mortal world. And Achilles says they will never survive the armies of Tartarus. The book goes, quote, Annabeth turned the blade of her dragonbone sword, which Percy had to admit made her look pretty intimidating and hot in a barbarian princess kind of way.
Intimidating women.
Yes, yes. And then Annabeth says, quote, so I guess your death mist is pretty useless then, she said. And Annabeth, she keeps doing this, where she has no patience for the people that are pledging, or at least people have said, and I guess by people I mean Bob, to the people that Bob says can help them. Annabeth is just super intense. Now, we'll soon learn that this is an intentional move, whereas for Damison, I think she was just at her wit's end and stressed out and worried about Percy. But for this situation, we see it's an intentional plan, but still, Annabeth is presented with people that should help her, and she's just like,
love that they're rage baiters.
They're rage baiters.
That's really all they're doing.
Mm-hmm. And they thrive in the role. Now, what I do really appreciate is that Achilles, in response, goes, useless? Who are you? Who are you is so good. Who are you is really nice. And it's so fun to see someone you dislike get who are you'd. I saw this happen to someone that I'm not particularly fond of on the internet, where they tried to like do something, taking a shot at someone online, and then they responded with, I'm sorry, who are you? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I really, really enjoy Who Are You? I encourage anyone to do it, but you have to use it in a situation in which you might not actually know the person, because there's nothing worse than when someone does the who are you, when you know that they know them. This happens in the NBA a lot, where there will be certain things where a player, say a young player, chirps at a more established veteran player. They're talking trash, they're going back and forth. And then in the post-game press conference, they'll be like, Giannis, it seemed like this rookie was talking trash to you. What was that all about? And he'd be like, oh yeah, number 15 on their team, I don't even know who he is, just started talking mess. And it's not true, because you know that one, every NBA player knows every other NBA player, not only from just like there's only a couple hundred of us and this is our job, but also from like a coaching perspective. The coaches have very detailed game plans for the defense. So they're going to explicitly say, number 15 is this name. Here are his tendencies. Here's what you want to do. So when an NBA player goes, oh, I don't even know who this guy is, you know, as the viewer, as the fan, that he's making it up. He's trying to act like he doesn't know who he is. But if you genuinely don't know who someone is and you get to do the who are you, oh, it's delicious. It's delicious. But anyway, Percy Jackson. So Annabeth bravely answers that she is a daughter of Athena, and she, quote, didn't walk halfway across Tartarus to be told what's impossible by some minor goddess. Annabeth, I love this, but also you are playing with fire here. Oh, So then Achilles scoffs at this, saying that she predates the Titans, and she was old even when Gia first woke. Quote, misery is eternal, existence is misery. She says that her parents are chaos and night, and because those are both characters in Hades the video game, I know that that means she's very old and of the primordial era. So the fact check is there. Shout out to Hades and Hades 2. So Annabeth says, quote, yes, sadness and misery, blah, blah, blah. But the blah, blah, blah is great. But you still don't have enough power to hide two demigods with your death mist. Like I said, useless. And Percy, trash talker galore, at this point has to chime in and go, Annabeth. That's how you know it's bad. If Percy's telling you to stop trash talking, you know it's pretty bad. So Annabeth then shoots him this look that screams, work with me. And the particular phrasing of work with me made me really happy because have you ever played, I don't know if this game fell out of fashion, have you ever played Disney Guess Words?
I've never heard of that game.
So it's very...
I've heard of Password.
Okay, it's effectively Password.
Okay. Because I was going to say this reminded me of that one clip from the Jimmy Fallon show where Keke Palmer and Yvette Nicole Brown were on a team together playing Password. I think Yvette Nicole Brown brought up, she's like, the amount of black communication happening in the eyes right now, you guys don't understand.
Okay, so this is exactly that same kind of thing. So Disney Guess Words is the same thing as Password, in which you have a clue that you have to give and two teams, and you can only say one thing. So it's not like Taboo where you go. Like you just give one word and then the person tries to get it, and the faster they get it, the more points you guess. And when we would play this game with my parents, you know, we'd do like family friend kind of things, and we'd usually do kids against adults. But anytime my dad, Joel P. Schubert, would give a clue, if it was like a little bit of a stretch before doing it, he would go, okay, work with me, and then say whatever it is. And sometimes it would be so unhinged. And then other times it would be really funny because he would say work with me and then give like a very easy clue. Like if it was Woody, he'd be like, work with me,
Buzz.
Cowboy. Yeah. Like, so sometimes it would be for these super outlandish guesses. Other times it would be completely unnecessary. But it just became a thing where me and my sister and our family friends, everyone would just precede every clue with work with me. So
with the eyebrows like,
you got it. Oh, the big eyes. Yeah, really, really fun stuff. So work with me is great.
Yeah, in elementary school, I got in trouble a lot for talking to my friends. So we got like put on opposite sides of the room.
Nice.
But like we like were able to communicate through like eyebrows and like reading each other's lips. So it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, that's true friendship, relationship status, when you can just communicate with a look and keep your cool, but like do enough glint in your eye to let people know, like, you think of what I'm thinking? You think of what I'm thinking? It's really fun. Like let's lock eyes and be like, we'll talk about this later. Like that's a classic significant other friend you went to the party with thing. Like at the party, someone says something ridiculous, lock eyes to signify we're talking about this on the train ride home.
Oh, yeah.
Earmark this for later. So Percy can see that Annabeth is actually scared, but she's trying to goad the goddess into action. So Percy, being the member of the Laugh Bloods that he is, yes-ands her, and he says that Annabeth is right. Bob led them here for help, but it seems like Achilles is too busy looking at the shield and sobbing. Quote, I can't blame you. It looks just like you. And Percy... we are trying to goad her into action. I don't think you need to call her ugly. That feels like a step too far.
But maybe she wants to be called ugly because she is the goddess of misery.
Oh,
you know,
this is weirdly what she's looking for. Neg me, please. Like those guys that like want to get humiliated and stuff. I mean, that's a little different, but you know. All right. Okay, maybe. Look, he's the god, or at least the demigod of trash talk, so he might know better than me. But I felt like this was a little against what they're going for here. Now, Achilles asks Bob why he would, quote, inflict these annoying children on her. Bob stammers. He's clearly embarrassed. Achilles says the death mist is not meant to help others. It's meant to cover mortals in misery as their souls enter the underworld. Apparently, it is the breath of Tartarus. So we're keeping this whole Tartarus body part thing going, which is always gross, but cool and interesting and creepy. So Percy then goes, awesome. Could we get 2 orders of that to go? That's great. Love that one. That's really funny. I appreciate that a lot. Good stuff from Percy. What's interesting, though, is that Achilles tells them to make a more reasonable ask. And then she goes on saying that she's also the goddess of poison, so she could give them poison to give them a less painful death than their current trajectory. And then not actually helpful. Because at first when she was pitching this, I thought it was good.
It's honestly low-key giving desperate, though. Like, please, like, don't make me, like, actually work and make you something that works, you know, to do what you want to do. I can give all these useless poisons, just like, you know, like, accessorize.
It's like when you ask for a refund from a place and they're like, we'll give you store credit. Be like, absolutely
But it'll
not.
be store credit minus the restocking fee.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that a lot. I had that happen recently. There was a situation where I needed something to be refunded because the company messed up and they were like, best we can do is store credit. And I was like, the best you can do is refund me. And then they were like, okay, sure. Yeah. Advice to it out there. If they try to store credit, you just be like, no. You don't have to say yes. You can say no. And maybe they will put their foot down and not let it. But like, don't immediately give in. Get real money, not pretend money. No one likes a gift card. Ugh. Give people cash. Don't give people gift cards.
Especially when it's a gift card to a place you don't want to buy from again. Like, what am I going to do with that?
That's the thing. I had a bad experience with this place. So it's like, I don't want store credit. I do not want more things from you. This was bad. Give me money, please. So then some sickly sweet flowers bloom around Achilles, and they are in shades of dark purple, orange, and red. She says they are nightshade, hemlock, belladonna, henbane, and strychnine? Do you know these flowers? Half of these could have been fake. Strychnine.
I believe these are all flowers. I'm sure I've heard them here and there. Mm-hmm. Do I know what they are? No. I just know they're poisonous.
I believe they're all real because at no point did my spell check get at me.
I know hemlock and belladonna for sure are real.
Yeah. But this is one of those things where any percentage of these could have been pretend, and I would have been like, yup, flowers. Or some of these could be like Greek mythological things and not actual flowers that exist, and I'd be like, yup, flowers. Got me fooled.
Undurfed.
Undurfed. Here we are. But these are, as you mentioned, poison ingredients. Percy says that he's had enough poison for one trip, thank you very much. Instead, he asks if she can just hide them in the death mist or not. And Annabeth says, yeah, it would be really fun if you could. And Achilles goes, fun, in italics. And Annabeth confirms, saying, look, if we fail, you can boast over our spirits that you were right and we didn't survive. You get the eternal I told you so, which is very fun. And then Percy chimes in, beautiful tag run with the yes ending here, saying, yeah, and if we're successful, it means that you will have been responsible for loads of suffering to loads of monsters. And Achilles does like the sound of that, so their pitch seems to be working. Percy says that it's a deal, and he asks to be shrouded, but Achilles gets up and says it's not that simple. The death mist comes at the moment one is closest to death. Quote, your eyes will be clouded, only then the world will fade. So Percy is worried, but he tries to hide it. He does check that they will be hidden from the monsters, and Achilles confirms, but not in a very reassuring manner. Quote, if you survive the process, you will be able to pass unnoticed among the armies of Tartarus. It is hopeless, of course, but if you are determined, then come, I will show you the way. Not great. Don't love that starting with if you survive. Not ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Annabeth asks, where are you taking us? And Achilles starts moving without answering. Not great. Percy realizes that he can't see Bob and asks where Bob went. And Achilles says that he cannot take this path, for he is immortal. And then she welcomes them to experience the death mist. And since it kept being called this over and over again, I was, at this point, writing in my notes, I'm surprised that the death mist is the actual name for this. I thought this was Bob doing his simple talk, where he's saying, you know, dark lady, death mist, stuff like that. I thought there would be some fancy Greek thing like, oh, the Greek word or something, which translates to death mist or whatever. But it is apparently technical term, capital D, capital M, death mist. And that just feels funny. The whole time I was expecting this to be a Bobism, and it's the real name.
I mean, she is old. Her vocabulary hasn't caught up to modern day.
Or she keeps adapting. Like it did have some super old school name and now she's like, oh, the kids these days. I'm trying to think of what's you would know better, Gen Z, Sherry. What's something that Gen Alpha is saying these days? Because, if I said...
Oh, I just heard about this one today. A choppelganger is like your doppelganger, but the worst looking version of you.
Oh, I know about this. Okay. There was this. Oh, thank you for saying this. So I get to, this is like, I have all these stories in my head that it's like, this is never going to find a way to TNO, but I love an excuse. I love this excuse. So in college, I dated someone, and then the first person that she saw after me looked strikingly like me, but I would say slightly worse looking. I'm not out here saying that I'm a good looking dude. I know that I got like a big long face and, not the most attractive features. I recognize that. However, this dude did kind of look like me. And the best compliment I got, because, we had dated for a long time. I knew she was dating this guy. Like it made me feel bad, obviously. So one of my friends, Sonia, at one point came up to me and was like, I won't use names for anyone, except for Sonia, because Sonia was a legend for doing this. Sonia was like, oh yeah, I saw your ex-girlfriend out getting coffee with this new guy she's dating. And at first I thought, oof, Mike looks pretty rough today, because she hadn't realized that we had broken up and then like figured it out after. And so like the highest compliment I got was like hearing that this dude who I thought like kind of looks like me does look like a worse version of me. So shout out to that guy, my choppelganger. Is there a word for like the more attractive person who looks like you? Because I feel like there needs to be.
I don't know,
that
because chopped means you're ugly and like unk means you're uncool. And
I
those
thought,
words are
really?
usually
I thought unk meant you're old.
Oh wait, you're so right.
Yeah,
it means uncle.
Yes.
Sorry, I saw a clip of like someone asking like Zoran, or like he said something about like someone said I was unk, and he was like, oh, they're saying I'm uncool, but they're saying no, you're uncle.
You're old.
And I got it mixed up. See, this is what I'm saying. I can't keep up anymore. I'm getting old. I'm elder Gen Z.
Oh, you're getting there. Oh man, just wait. Just wait until some kid makes fun of you for saying something or doing something.
Well, apparently 6'7" is out now.
Oh yeah,
but
it's gone.
My friends and I, I've only
gone.
adopted it recently, so we're like 6'7's hilarious.
No, see, I knew better. One, I was like a bitter millennial. I was like, no, only 69 for me. I can't take the new one on.
Well, me and my friends, we were all like, oh, 6'7" is so stupid for the longest time. But then we were like, it is kind of funny. Like one of my friends told her mom 6'7", but in Chinese.
Okay, that's fun.
So now we go like Liu Qi.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. With the hand motion.
Yeah.
Okay, I can support that.
Apparently her mom loves it. Anytime it comes up, she's like, oh my God, I know slang.
I love that. I love that a lot. Anyway, Percy Jackson, where were we? My goodness gracious. How did we get onto this?
Death Mist, being called Death Mist.
Death Mist with the name. Okay, wow, yeah. So I couldn't believe that. Now, the book ends, chapter 46, with the following quote, Annabeth exhaled and grabbed his hand. Well, how bad can it be?
How
the question
bad
was
could
so
it
ridiculous.
possibly be?
That's really good. The question was so ridiculous, Percy laughed, even though it hurt his lungs. Yeah, next date, though, dinner in New Rome. They followed the goddess's dusty footprints through the poison flowers deeper into the fog. And I like this a lot. I really, really do. Now, I couldn't think of a better, like, obviously I wanted to do something with the goddess of misery. All I wrote here for the retitling was misery business. I couldn't find any lyric that was like more clever than just doing misery business. I welcome a punch up here, but I feel like misery business is too good to pass up.
I also was struggling, so my retitle is just, we negotiate for the privilege of a miserable death.
Yeah, that's good. I like that a lot. Let's take our mid-roll break here for the House of Headlines, and then we'll come back to do chapters 47 and 48. Hello and welcome to the House of Headlines Auxiliary Shubio edition. I'm here in the Auxiliary Shubio on a Sunday night with updates about the podcast, and I'm here to say not too many new updates, so we'll keep this pretty brief. We've got 3 live shows coming up on the docket. We've got Brooklyn on August 15th, Boston on September 20th, and Philly on September 27th. If you want to get tickets to all those shows, you can go to thenewsolympian.com/live. There will be something hopefully posted soon about how to get the new Mayor of Tangent Town pins before I put them up on the merch store, so you can get them at a cheaper rate. Follow that at Newest Olympian on Instagram. And then finally, new stuff is coming to the Patreon. All your classics like director's commentary and bonus episodes, but also hopefully some new things. So go to the Patreon, thenewsolympian.com/Patreon. You can get access to a whole bunch of fun things. I had recently posted a bonus episode from a Percy Jackson spin-off book that might not come out onto the podcast feed until years and years from now. I'm going to be posting the next iteration of that as the June bonus episode for people in the bonus episode tier. There will be other fun stuff posted at different tiers. Sometimes I do all tier posts, little sneak peeks and behind the scenes looks. So check us out. We've got some fun things in the works. So head on over to thenewsolympian.com/Patreon if you are interested. If you join and you get an annual membership instead of paying monthly, you do save 15%, which is pretty sweet. So if you want to lock it in and get a discounted rate, that is available for you. There's lots of fun reasons to join the Patreon. Get some stuff. When I send the stickers, I send hand-signed notes and stuff. It's cool. If you're at the Mega God tier Patreon, you get the pins. You get a handwritten signed postcard from me. Lots of cool, fun things over on the Patreon. This is normally the point where I give a shout out to the folks who have joined most recently, but no one has joined since last episode. So instead, you got an extended description of the Patreon. That's also where you can get the shop stuff. So those are the one-time purchase things like our past live streams, including the live stream of the big Nico reveal, the live stream we did in Atlanta. That's up right now. And then that's also where you can get things like The Last and the Curious, the limited series podcast that I made with Eric Schneider, and some other past live shows that have been on the feed, and one that has not been on the feed. It's exclusive. Johnny and I did a Who's the Best Demigod That Isn't Percy debate. It's super fun. And for just $10, head on over to the Patreon. Lots of good stuff over there. Now, if you're all caught up in the News Olympian and you're looking for some new content to consume, you're in luck, because I make a whole bunch of podcasts and I think you would like them. And one that you should definitely listen to is Horse. Horse is a basketball podcast where me and my buddy Adam Amwala, who's a professional stand-up comedian, teach you how to follow basketball. If you're a super fan, we let you know what all of the big dramatic things are. We don't really focus as much with the on-court stuff as we do the off-court stuff. And we're making a brief exception here because my beloved New York Knicks won the NBA championship. I've mentioned it here on the podcast, but if you really just want to hear pure joy in my voice and my life, check out the most recent couple episodes of Horse, the stuff leading up to the finals, the big final celebration episode that we just posted, and then probably the next 12, because I'm just riding this for as long as I can. So that's Horse. You can listen to wherever you get your podcasts by searching for Horse or by going to our website, horsehoops.com. Now, unless you're listening on Patreon, you get access to ad-free episodes. You're going to hear words from a few sponsors, make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of those ads will be read by me, and others of them won't be. The ones that aren't read by me are inserted locally. So if you live in Cape Verde, don't be surprised if you hear an ad in Portuguese. But once those ads are complete, we'll get back into this episode of the News Olympian. All right, and we're back. We are here to cover more chapters. This is another Percy chapter, and we will retitle it, but it opens with, quote, Percy missed Bob. And Percy basically had grown accustomed to him being alongside him and leading them, but now their guide is, quote, an emaciated corpse lady with serious self-esteem issues. Thanks, narrator Percy. The fog grows so thick that Percy instinctually wants to bat it away with his hands, and he's only able to follow Ackles's path because poisonous plants keep sprouting up wherever she walks. Percy guesses that if they were still somewhere on the body of Tartarus, they'd be at the bottom of his foot. It's rough and calloused, where only the grossest things can grow, which feels like an apt description.
Thanks for that visual,
Yeah.
Rick.
This is one of those things, not to put you on blast, but I would trust. I'm surprised by this. Do you wash your feet when you're in the shower, or do you just like stand in water and say that's
I
good
wash
enough?
my feet.
Okay, cool. I've learned there's other people that
I
don't.
found out that some people don't wash their like legs, and I was like,
I
"What do you
heard
mean?
that.
The water
That's-
dripping down? That's not clean water.
Thank you.
There's a little bit of soap in there, but it's not. You gotta scrub. You gotta scrub. You have to exfoliate because just
got
letting water
to.
trickle down does not get the dirt or sweat off. Especially if you're wearing sunscreen, it does not come off without scrubbing.
Absolutely
You
not.
gotta scrub with an exfoliating something.
Or at least just like your hands. Like you gotta
Yes.
at least like suds up or a soap bar or body wash, whatever you're doing. This was an important moment for me because I feel like for part of my life, I was surrounded by like good parents, good friends. I went to like very academically challenging schools for like K through 8, high school and college. So it was this thing that like once I got out of college in 2014, I started to learn of like, oh, there's a lot of people out here who are mean and evil and stupid. And one of my first big like aha moments of that was like I started really getting into Vine my second half of my senior year. And at first, it's one of these things where you just kind of like think everybody's kind of like you. And it's like, oh, all these creative people, because all the friends I met on YouTube were just like these like driven, creative, thoughtful people, very accepting, all this kind of stuff. And then with Vine, I don't know, maybe because the barrier to making Vines is so easier and lower. It's just like I started to meet like people who made funny stuff, but then like were bad or not wise people. And I met this one dude who tried to do the whole like, oh yeah, I don't wash my legs because...
Ooh. As like a piece of pride?
Not a thing of pride, but somehow it became like a running thing on Vine. And one of his Vines was like, oh yeah, I don't wash my legs because the soap runs down. And I was just like, how can someone be this like they make people this unintelligent? And then the 2016 election happened and I was like, half of the country is this unintelligent?
Yeah.
What? Ugh. So that was a big wake up moment for me. Is like, oh, you've been surrounded by really smart people for a long time. And there's some people that just like, don't. If you're listening to this and you don't wash your legs, you gotta wash your legs. So yeah, I learned there's some people who don't wash their feet because like, oh, you're staying in the shower. It's like, you gotta scrub your feet, man.
You gotta. They're the stinkiest part of you. You gotta scrub them.
They're so stinky, especially
with soap.
I have very sweaty feet. I'm a very foot sweaty person. Like I gotta get really high quality socks. I gotta change socks in the day if I'm very intentional with it. Me especially, but everybody. Wash your feet, please, please. They smell. They definitely do. You may not think they do. Just because they're far from your nose, it doesn't mean they don't smell. Anyway, Percy Jackson. So they arrive at what Percy guesses is the Big Toe, which you should also wash, and the fog dissipates. They are now on a peninsula over a black abyss, and Ackley says they're here. Percy's confused by her expression because her eyes look wet with tears but also excited. And Percy asks, where is here? And Ackley says, when night meets the void below Tartarus. So I'm thinking, because of Hades the video game, are we talking about Nyx? Like, is Nyx going to come here? But Annabeth looks over the edge and says that she thought nothing existed below Tartarus. And Ackley says, oh, of course there is, as even Tartarus has to rise from somewhere. And now I'm just wondering how deep this goes. Are we going to meet...
Is it like turtles all the way down?
Yeah, like there's going to be Tartarus. We've already established Tartarus 2, Tutorus. Is there Tar 3 Tarus? Like what's going on? Or is there Fortarus? Like how deep does it go? How evil can we get? So then Ackley says, quote, this is the edge of the earliest darkness, which was my mother. Below lies the realm of chaos, my father. Here, you are closer to nothingness than any mortal has ever been. Can you not feel it? And Percy can feel it. The darkness feels like it's taking his breath away. It feels like it's depleting the oxygen from his blood, which I actually, it's one of these things where it's like, I do know what that feels like.
You've ever been so sick you wake up gasping for air because you're just, literally asphyxiating in your sleep.
Or I don't know if this is the same thing or just a similar effect, but like when you are at a high altitude, whether it's hiking or you're just in Utah or Colorado. And I have family in Utah, one of the like really high elevation cities. And I just went for a run, and I don't go for runs often, but like good enough where like I'm good for a couple of miles before I really start feeling it. And a quarter mile in, I was like, this is horrible. Like I looked down at how far I had run to see how much I had accomplished, and it was 0.25. And I was like, my goodness.
I went on a run a few days ago for the first time in like 6 months. And I forgot my watch, so I don't know how long I went, so I just went based on time. My legs, the next 2 days, I could not walk on like flat ground. Going downstairs, I was like gripping on the railing to get onto the subway. I was like, oh, I must look like a donkey. Like the way my legs are just like, they're so stiff. It felt great in the moment. Afterwards, I was like, oof, maybe I gotta work a little bit more cardio into my workout regimen.
That, or what I have learned as I progress into my 30s is stretching before and after, and really big.
What's wild is I actually did stretch after.
Oh man. Okay.
And I had my legs up, because normally I don't really stretch that much because I'm pretty flexible. So I don't really need to be more flexible. But after that run, I was like, I'm going to feel it. Let's try to mitigate some of this. And it did nothing.
Yeah, the big key, stretching before, hydrating before, during, after, stretching after, foam rolling after, those go a long way. And this
Yeah, I
is like
haven't
all the
foam rolled
things
in a
that
hot second.
it really
And I
does a
have a
lot.
foam roller too. I just keep forgetting I own
Gotta
it.
do it. Throw on a podcast such as The Newest Olympian by Mike Schubert, featuring editing works of Sherry Guo, and just get some foam rolling in. It can really go a long way. That's my whole thing now. Like when I'm playing softball is primarily the sport that I'm playing now these days. And the number one goal, like when I was younger and playing, it was like, I want to get hit. I want to get on base. I want to be good in the field. Number one goal now is don't get injured. And then under that is like, don't get injured, win the game, play well.
I had a scary moment where my ankle rolled in a little bit mid-run, and I was like, that's the ankle that I've sprained 5.5 times. Like, we cannot sprain it again.
So anyway, Percy Jackson, Percy sees Annabeth's lips turning blue, and he says, okay, we cannot stay here. And Achilles agrees that they cannot stay here, saying that they should be able to feel the death mist now. She calls for them to look at how they are passing between. And narrator Percy says, quote, white smoke gathered around Percy's feet. As it coiled up his legs, he realized the smoke wasn't surrounding him. It was coming from him. His whole body was dissolving. He held up his hands and found they were fuzzy and indistinct. He couldn't even tell how many fingers he had. Hopefully, still 10. Great. I love throwing the humor in.
It would have been funny
Rick.
if he threw in, like, hopefully still 11, you know? Like,
It's
Percy has a 6th finger?
That would be so fun. It's never been established, but how finger normative of us, how digit normative for us to say. But that would be funny if that's how we learn. No, yeah, Percy's got 11 fingers. It's chill. That's how he's so good at swordplay. He's got that extra finger.
Yeah, he's got more grip.
Yeah. Percy looks at Annabeth, and he cannot bring himself to say it, but she looks dead. Quote, her skin was sallow, her eye sockets dark and sunken, her beautiful hair had dried into a skein of cobwebs. Do we know what a skein is?
Yes. So, like,
Okay.
you know how, like, yarn comes in those, like, ball things? That's called a skein.
Oh, cool.
So I assume the definition is, like, a wounding of fabric or, like, string, you know?
Yeah. I Googled it, and that's exactly what just came up. But yeah, a third word I'm learning about this episode. So much knowledge. She looked like she'd been stuck in a cool, dark mausoleum for decades, slowly withering into a desiccated husk. And I only knew what desiccated was because for a recipe that Kelly is making today, she had to get desiccated coconut. And I was like, what the heck is that?
They
At
couldn't just
first
say
I-
dried coconut?
It's different.
Oh. Okay.
Because it's like it's dried and in really small things, which is different from coconut flakes and coconut powder, I've learned.
There's
So
coconut
we've got,
powder?
Yeah, I think I think that is coconut flakes blended up really, really intensely. But the key with desiccated coconut is that the moisture has been removed.
Is a flake not demoisturized?
I don't think so. I don't think fully. Because when I was looking up, do I have to buy desiccated coconut or can you just blend up coconut flakes, the internet was saying if you remove the moisture and grind it up, you can make desiccated coconut. So I think that's a key thing.
Interesting.
So I might be wrong, but this is at least what the internet was saying. Needless to say, we bought desiccated coconut that was labeled as such from the internet. But otherwise, I would have been 4 because at first when Kelly said we needed it, I was like, desecrated coconut? Like unholy coconut? What? What are you talking about? So when Annabeth turns to look at Percy, her features momentarily blur into mist, and Percy's blood feels thick in his veins because seeing Annabeth dying, which is this lingering fear he's always had because she's a demigod and demigods aren't supposed to make it, it spooks him far more than any other monster they have faced up until this point. Annabeth starts to comment on how Percy looks, and though he looks misty to his own eyes, he's guessing that he looks dead to her, much like she looks dead to him. So Percy tries to walk, and his body feels unnaturally light, as if it's made of, quote, helium and cotton candy.
Wild how cotton candy just disappears the second it touches water.
I mean, it's just...
Like that poor raccoon.
Wait, what?
Have you seen the meme of the raccoon trying to wash his cotton candy in the river and then it just disappears in front of his eyes?
No!
Well, it's not a meme,
Oh my
it's a video.
gosh! Yeah, new Pizza Rat, yeah.
What?
It's like,
It's
you don't
not
know
that
Pizza
new.
Rat? No. Oh, it's old? Like, I've just never seen it.
It's been around.
Okay. I've never seen it at all. I'm surprised I haven't seen that. Wow. Okay. But that's, yeah, poor raccoon. Poor raccoon. No. But Percy says, well, yeah, I've looked better and I'm struggling to move, but I'm all right. And Ackley says, you are not all right. Percy asks, okay, but can we at least pass undetected so that we can reach the doors of death? And Ackley says, well, yeah, you possibly could if you live that long, but you won't. So now I'm frustrated. Like, Bob, how could you walk them into this terrible situation? What's going on? So Ackley spreads her fingers and more poisonous plants bloom. She says that the death mist is not merely a disguise, it's a state of being. She cannot give the gift unless true death follows. And Annabeth clocks this as a trap. And Ackley asks, didn't you expect me to betray you? And Annabeth and Percy say yes in unison, which I think is great. They're like, this is book 9. We know what's happening. We've been here before.
Like, do you know how many villains we've tag team rage baited? This is not our first rodeo.
This is the part of the book where someone helps us, but they make it challenging. CNC also, the prophecy guy from Portland. I've already forgotten his name. Phineas, thank you. I was like, it's not 4Cs. That's the other version of this, which happened in Mark of Athena. Person helpful, but also wants to kill you, probably. So they say yes in unison, and then Ackley says, well, then it was hardly a trap, more of an inevitability. Misery is inevitable. Pain is. And Percy goes, yeah, let's get to the fighting, which, great. He knows the book format.
We're not doing this whole spiel.
He gets it. Rick gets that. We get it. We all know what's going on. Let's get to it. He wields Riptide, but then Riptide's blade is smoke, and the slash that Percy does nothing to her.
You know, I do like, though, that Percy's cutting off the villain monologue, because that's like gotta be what villains live for, you know, to do their 5-minute monologue while they're not realizing the people they're trying to kill are making a plan behind their backs. And she doesn't even get to do that.
Yeah, the villains love to do the classic person in an audience that loves to, during a Q&A section, be like, less of a question, more of a statement, and just, you know, vamp. Like, they're waiting for their opportunity to vamp. Mm-hmm. And I think it's great for Percy to not give them that opportunity. So the book ends the chapter with the following. Quote, the goddess's ruined mouth split into a grin. Did I forget to mention? You are only mist now, a shadow before death. Perhaps if you had time, you could learn to control your new form, but you do not have time. Since you cannot touch me, I fear any fight with misery will be quite one-sided. Her fingernails grew into talons, her jaw unhinged, and her yellow teeth elongated into fangs. Not ideal. Not exactly what you're looking for.
No.
Mm-mm. I have retitled Chapter 47, A Walk with Admiral Ackley's Bar, because it's a trap.
Oh, okay. I have retitled it, Our Costume Fitting Goes Up in Smoke.
Oh, that's very good. That's really good.
In their mist forms, they're kind of just doing Ackless cosplay.
I like it. I really like it. All right. We've got time to do Chapter 48. It's super short, but let's do it. It's called Percy Will Retitle It. It opens with, quote, Ackley's lunged at Percy, and for a split second he thought, well, hey, I'm just smoke. She can't touch me, right? He imagined the fates up in Olympus laughing at his wishful thinking. Lol, noob. And my goodness, this book was written in 2013 by a man in his 50s, because lol, noob. Oh.
He's trying so hard to be cool with the kids.
Being cool with the kids. I feel like this is just out of fashion to say lol noob. Because I feel like that was high school era for me, and this would have been my junior year of college. So lol noob, it's perfectly just a little too late from Rick. Very funny stuff. Just great. I had an ear-to-ear grin when I read lol noob. Just so fun. Now, Ackley's claws slash up Percy's chest, and it burns like boiling water. And I love that as a description, because getting burnt by boiling water is a specific thing, and you don't necessarily first think of that with burn. Like, the first thought is always fire. But I can very much, as someone who cooks a lot, sympathize with what it feels like for boiling water to get you. It's a very specific type of pain, so I knew exactly what he was describing. Percy stumbles back awkwardly because he's not used to being missed. He chucks his backpack at her, hoping that it would turn back into solid form in midair once it left his body, but no, that did not work. But I like the thought. Good attempt. Why not?
Yeah, at this point, you know, he's never been smoke before. He doesn't know the rules of smoke physics.
Nah, you gotta just start trying stuff. Now, Ackley's readies herself for a pounce at Percy's face, but Annabeth distracts her by yelling, hey, in all caps right by her ear. Good strategy.
Rage bait her.
Yeah. Ackley's flinches and then swipes at Annabeth, but Annabeth dodges, and Percy wonders if Annabeth took, quote, how to fight while partially made of smoke at Camp Half-Blood in one of the years preceding his time there. Just great. Percy is amazed by her combat skills, and it takes him a beat to realize, oh, there's a reason why she's doing this, to buy me time to find some help. I gotta go find some help. So he tries to think of a way to defeat misery without touching anything, and I wrote in my notes, with joy, with love, and thankfully, they get on that train. Ackley's finally lands an attack on Annabeth, so Percy rushes at her with Riptide raised over his head, and he calls her happy and cheerful, and that angers her, and it throws her off her game. He calls her pleasant and delightful, and each compliment is like she's getting hit in the face with sand. She pledges to give them a slow and painful death via a sacrifice to night, and Percy keeps the attacking and distracting up so that Annabeth, the planner, can come up with something smart. She's currently rummaging through her bag looking for something that can help. So Percy's yelling compliments, Achilles is yelling about how she'll kill them. Annabeth tries to get both of their attentions, but Achilles is locked in on Percy. He tries to retreat, but this poisoned ichor, which had been spilling out, now surrounds him. So he's on this little island the size of a shield. He wants to tell Annabeth just to run and leave him, but his voice isn't working, much like me in any of my dreams where I need to yell something.
Oh, yes. Yes. Sometimes when I fall asleep by accident and then I wake up at like 4 a.m., and I try to fall back asleep, every hour I'll wake up from like a new nightmare.
Oh, yeah. I
happened
get that.
this morning.
Oh, do you remember what the nightmare was? I had one, and it was the similar situation where I fell asleep for like an hour, so I remembered.
There were a couple. One of them was, so I guess here's the big announcement, everyone. I'm leaving the podcast.
Oh,
I'm going to law school in the fall.
On. It's okay. You will graduate from our editor to our lawyer.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Congratulations, by the way. I mean, obviously, we've said
you.
this as friends and stuff, but just so that everyone listening doesn't think I'm some jerk. Congratulations on an incredible feat. So awesome.
But in my dream, it was like what I thought was day one of orientation. And then everyone's like already like friends. And I'm like, how does everyone know each other? And then like the person who's like leading us is like, you need to have like turned in this survey by tomorrow. Or like, if you didn't do it already, like make sure to send it. I was like, what survey? I didn't get a survey. They're like, you didn't set up your email right. We emailed you and you were supposed to like fill out this form to make sure you're getting the emails. And the orientation started yesterday, actually. This is day 2. Good luck.
Oh, terrifying. Yeah, that's a dream that I would have for sure.
And I was like, oh, that's how everyone knows each other. I was supposed to be here yesterday. Great.
Oh, terrifying. Oh, at least wait. You got to wake up. Did you wake up with relief that it was?
Yeah,
fake?
I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I mean so I had a thing where I went back to sleep, like same kind of thing, because I'm a very deep sleeper. I never remember my overnight dreams, but if I ever take like a nap or a sleep that's like an hour or less, I'll remember it. And this one I had a nightmare where I was with my brother-in-law in a park, and then we had to go to a doctor's appointment for his kid. So we left and went, and then we were in the appointment, and then at that moment I realized I didn't have my phone on me, so then we did the find my phone thing on his phone, and we saw that it was in the park, and I was like, okay, cool, it's still in the park, let's finish up the appointment and then we'll go back. And then you just see the dot start to move, and then the dot goes on a road, and then it goes on a highway, and then it goes to the airport, and then it goes to the FedEx plane cargo thing, and I was like, no, someone already like sold it on eBay or something, and I was freaking out.
My sister's phone got stolen recently.
No. Oh, yeah.
Right before she went to Brazil for spring break.
Oh, right. Yeah, you were mentioning this. Oh, so terrifying. So, yeah, I was worried. And this was like a specific, like, pulling from my brain fear because I have not backed up my phone to my computer in a bit because I didn't have enough room on my computer to do it and all this, like.
Yeah, that's what happened to her. She had bought more iCloud storage the day it got stolen, but it hadn't fully uploaded yet. Her recent backup was like 2 or 3 months old.
No. So as this is happening, it's one of those things where like the nightmare is so bad that in the dream, I'm like, please be a dream, please be a dream, please be a dream. And I like will myself to open my eyes. And then I woke up and I was like,
but have you ever had a nightmare where you're like, oh my God, please wake up, and you wake up, but it's another layer of the dream?
No, I've not had that,
I've had
thankfully.
those, and it's truly a horrifying experience because then you're just like, let me out, let me out, get me out of this escape room.
Oh gosh. Anyway, Percy Jackson, narrator Percy says, quote, he wished there was water in Tartarus, some nice pool he could jump into to heal himself, or maybe a river he could control. He'd settle for a bottle of Evian.
I like that it's settle for Evian as if that's not one of the fancy waters.
So that's what I thought. At first, I was like, this is weird because Evian is one of those fancy ones that tastes good if you're trying to knock one for tasting bad. Obviously, it's, let's all say it together, everyone, Aquafina. Oh, Poland Spring.
I don't like Poland Spring.
I think it's like passable. Like I'm never excited about
Aquafina, disgusting.
Aquafina, actively terrible.
Dasani, disgusting.
Dasani and
I
Aquafina
think Dasani's like fancy
bad.
Aquafina. Like I think it's like Honda and like Acura. They're like owned by the same parent company.
Well, the thing is, I believe one of them is Pepsi and one of them is Coke, but they are both in that similar space where it's like they will be in the vending machine and they're in a bottle that's like thicker than a Poland Spring bottle because they just use the soda bottles.
Well, Aquafina
so whatever
bottles
they're doing,
are now
both
paper
bad.
thin. They like don't hold their weight. Dasani ones are still like sturdy.
Okay, yeah. Both of those I think are in the same vein of like really bad. I need to send more emails, but like I want a water company to sponsor me so badly because I drink so much water. Maybe I can get New York City because I'm always drinking tap water because the tap water here is delicious. But at the live show we did recently in Charlotte, they had Fiji in the green room, which is like the fancy rectangle water.
I hate that it tastes better.
I hate how good it tastes. It's
It does
so
taste
good.
better.
I had never had it like my entire life. And the first time I think I had it, at least to the point where I remember, was we did a live show in Phoenix, Arizona, like years ago with my buddy Wendy. It was like I think it was like 2021 or 2022, like early, like the second show I ever did in Phoenix. And same thing, Green Room had only Fiji. And I drink so much water when I do these live shows. Like I have this big 32-ounce Nalgene, and I usually go through at least 2 of those for a show, pre-hydrating, during the show, hydrating, whatever. And that amounted to the 2 of us drinking like 12 bottles of Fiji. So we just looked like the most obnoxious people. Like the recycling bin was just littered, but it's like I would have gladly had non-fancy schmancy water, but this is what was given to us, so sorry. But then at the show in Charlotte, it had Fiji. I was like, oh, haha, Fiji again. And then I drank it. I was like, this is good. Like, this is
the
really
first time
good.
I had Fiji in like a fancy hotel, I was like, I don't like that this tastes a lot better than the bottled waters I've had in the past.
Very disappointing. Now, did I take 4 bottles of it home in my checked bag that I had brought? Now, they had just restocked the entire water bottle fridge in the green room, so there was like 50 of them in there, so I didn't feel really bad. And also, I brought them money by doing a show. They didn't give me any of the liquor sales and stuff, so I took the water bottles because we were staying in a hotel, and hotel tap water, absolutely not. So yeah. So I was like, I actually do need this. But yeah, it is no free ads, but it is frustrating how good Fiji tastes.
Yeah. I had a
sucks.
friend in college who was in one of those like venture capital consulting clubs. And everyone who's in one of these clubs is like uber rich.
Mm-hmm.
And so like everyone in this club, they were all like international students who lived in these like bougie luxury apartments as college students.
Of course.
And they only drank Fiji water.
Of course.
They didn't drink tap water, Brita water, like no other brands of bottled water. And if they left out a bottle of water for longer than an hour, they thought the water had gone bad and they put it in their humidifiers.
That's wild. That's wild. That is unhinged behavior. Rich people have to be stopped. They must be stopped.
Yeah, she was telling me this story and I was like, it was just ridiculous. Like, what do you mean the water's bad after an hour? The lid's on.
Tucker Carlson recently, in trying to like sound cool and relatable, called a hot dog a to-go hot dog. He called it something like a to-go or a carry-out or a takeaway hot dog. And I was like,
every hot dog is to go?
What are you talking about? Oh, gosh. It's a banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10? Like, oh, ridiculous stuff.
A banana's a to-go banana.
Yeah, this to-go banana. I don't have a fork and knife for my banana. But I think with the settling for a bottle of Evian, I think it's more because the other 2 bodies of water described were large. Lake, river, I'll take a bottle of Evian. I think this is Rick letting us sneakily know Evian is his favorite of the waters. And this is definitely going on my list of very important questions to ask Uncle Rick. Like this skyrocketed towards the top of, is your favorite brand of water Evian? Did you have a sneaky, like, is this early spawn con? What's going on? Evian's some good stuff. Like my experience with it is for years and years, they were the official water sponsor of the US Open, the tennis one. You could buy them, but then like sometimes it would be like Evian Day and you get free water. And like,
I think they also make like a facial spray that like feels real nice on your face.
All right, look, no free
ads,
I don't think
it does anything, but
placebo, baby, we'll take it. All right, let's keep it rocking. Ackley says that Percy will feel eternal darkness by dying in the arms of night. Percy can barely sense what Annabeth is doing, which is yelling and throwing draken jerky at Ackley's. I like that her big plan. Do you think
draken jerky tastes like chicken?
Probably. Most confusing meats taste like chicken. I've had fried alligator on a stick before. It tastes like chicken. Yeah, it just tastes like chicken. It's very good. It just tastes like chicken, though. Highly recommend. But I do enjoy that Annabeth's big plan, because it's like she was rummaging through the bag trying to find something useful. Her big plan is I'm going to throw stuff at her. Great. Good plan. Good plan. So the poison pools up in little streams, and Percy thinks about lakes and streams and water, and then he begins to laugh because poison surely must be part water, kind of like how the human body is mostly water.
If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck,
it's a duck. Narrator Perseus is quote, he remembered some science lecture about the human body being mostly water. He remembered extracting water from Jason's lungs back in Rome. If you could control that, then why not other liquids? And when this happened, I gasped audibly and went, oh, like it's such an exciting thought process that I was really intrigued to see what went down. So narrator Percy says, quote, "It was a crazy idea. Poseidon was the god of the sea, not of every liquid everywhere. Then again, Tartarus had its own rules. Fire was drinkable. The ground was the body of a dark god. The air was acid, and demigods could be turned into smoky corpses. So why not try? He had nothing left to lose. I
Okay, Katara.
love this." Okay, look, I will save
You'll get
that.
that reference in 30 years.
As I've said, I don't know if I've ever like directly said it in an episode, but like if I do run out of Percy Jackson stuff and I have not retired, the next podcast is Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is the only thing of media that I'm like very intentionally actively avoiding because I might make a podcast out of it. Like that's the if my children go to very expensive colleges and I really got to get those tuition bills, like,
The costs of college are ridiculous these days.
bro,
The cost
it's
of law
getting
school
wild.
is ridiculous.
Can't even imagine.
My parents,
Can't
like, you
even
really had to
imagine.
pick one of the most expensive undergrads and one of the most expensive law schools. Like, thank you.
Sorry that
We
I'm
will
so
never
smart,
retire.
Mom and Dad. Sorry that I'm so smart.
Sorry. I
Look,
like
Sherry,
New
if you ever
York.
need some money, you can come and edit some episodes. You're always, if you need that cash, be like, yo, I got a free week. Can I episode edit? Be like, I got you. Truly. The inbox is always open.
Yeah, also, if anyone's at Columbia Law School and you're a fan of the pod, like, let's be fans.
Yeah, do it. Become
Actually,
Sherry's
so
friend.
what's funny is someone like put me in the like group chat that someone started on Instagram, and student housing applications are like starting like soon. Someone had messaged like, oh, like I'm looking to like ideally live in like a 2-bedroom apartment in student housing, like if anyone's interested in being a roommate. So and I was like, I actually am looking for that too. So I DM'd this girl. Turns out she's currently a senior at U Chicago, and she was like, oh my god, like I like have listened to so many Mike Schubert podcasts. Your name was so familiar. I was like, what a coincidence.
Let's go.
The social circles are so small.
I love this. I love all of the friendships in general, but also specifically with you that have come out of the podcasting cinematic universe. So fun. Yes, that's delightful. I hope you become lifelong friends. But anyway, Percy Jackson. So Percy stares at the poison and focuses. He sends the poison back at Achilles, and she is confused. And then the fumes start to make her eyes water, and Percy thinks, oh, good, more water. And then he imagines her choking in her throat and in her nose on her own tears, which is intense.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, this is way more intense than Percy normally is. And then we'll see what's going on. So then Annabeth calls for Percy to stop, as Misery has now run to the edge of a cliff, even though the poison is not nearby. She has gone much farther than she needs to, but then Percy realizes, oh, she's running away from me out of fear. She's trying to keep her distance from me, not the poison. But Percy doesn't want to stop. He wants to choke her and make her drown in her own poison. He wants to see how much misery with a capital M, can take. Again, very intense stuff.
What a great description of just like pure rage.
Yeah, it's really good. And it's described in a way where it doesn't become super apparent what's happening. So we kind of feel what Percy's feeling, where we don't really know why this feeling is there. And then it gets revealed later. I think it was very well done by Rick. Annabeth begs Percy to stop. So Percy wills the poison to stop moving. And then he clears a path for Achilles and he commands her to leave. Narrator Percy says, quote, for an emaciated ghoul, Achilles could run pretty fast when she wanted to. She scrambled along the path, fell on her face, and got up again, wailing as she sped into the dark. And once she leaves, the poison disappears and the plants turn to dust and blow away. And then Annabeth stumbles over to Percy and begins to cry as she says that some things aren't meant to be controlled and he can't ever do that again. Narrator Percy says, quote, his whole body tingled with power, but the anger was subsiding. The broken glass inside him was beginning to smooth at the edges. There was a thing earlier in the narration where he said it felt like something inside him broke. And right up my alley, because this is exactly black suit symbiote Spider-Man. Like, this is exactly the Peter Parker. I've got the symbiote. I'm too ragey. I'm not pulling my punches, all that kind of stuff. So I know exactly what's going on here. I love this for Percy, someone who I often compare to Spider-Man for many different reasons. And now this continues to add to the list of why those two dudes are very much intertwined.
Two New Yorkers.
Two New Yorkers. Now, Percy agrees with Annabeth that he shouldn't do this again. Annabeth says that they got to get away from the cliff since they were brought here for some sort of sacrifice. And Percy asks, yeah, what was that whole feed them to the night thing about? And then the book goes, quote, Percy grabbed Annabeth and backed away from the edge as a presence emerged from the void. A form so vast and shadowy, he felt like he understood the concept of dark for the first time. I imagine, said the darkness, in a feminine voice as soft as coffin lining, that she meant night with a capital N. After all, I am the only one. So then I wrote, Nix, question mark, because of Hades the video game.
Do you have a prediction for how that encounter is going to go?
Man. I would imagine better than this one, just because of the normal way that these books go. Usually we don't get like super scary evil back to back. So I think it's going to be okay. I really don't have like an actual guess of how it's going to logistically go, but just in general, I think it's going to go better. And I don't know if the mist will help them in this situation or not. I feel like it's one of those things where like night itself isn't evil. It's just like this primordial thing. So I don't feel like it's out to get them. Like misery like is bad, but like chaos and night to me just feel like these big vague concepts as opposed to like a decidedly baddie thing. So that's where I'm at. Maybe they can convince Night that what Gia is doing goes against her wishes. Maybe it's something in that realm. Like, oh, your daughter is a disappointment. Maybe that's the play. That would be the initial guess. But what I've titled this chapter is I form a new symbiotic relationship because of getting symbiote in there. Have you retitled chapter 48?
I have. I've retitled it, Everyone is Gagged by the Extent of My Powers.
Very good. Good Gen Z usage of gagged. Perfect.
But also gagged as in choked.
Very good. Oh, it gets deeper. Perfect stuff. Perfect. Well, Sherry, this was lovely. What an episode. What a return. Thank you so much for joining. If people want to find you doing stuff, where can they find you doing stuff? Where can they find you practicing law?
I'll be in law school, so I don't know if you'll be
Catch
finding
me in your
doing
local courtroom.
But, my website, we're working on updating the look.
Okay.
I have lots of backlogs of film photography that I've shot that I have not posted, but I'm trying to be less on the internet publicly, so.
Smart. It's scary here. It's a scary place. Tread lightly. But Sherry, thank you so much for joining. Listeners, thank you for listening. And until next time, when we see what goes down with Night, until then, I'll see you later. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Newest Olympian. This podcast is created, hosted, and produced by me, Mike Schubert. I also run the social media and the website. Our editor is Sherry Guo. The music is by Bettina Campamanes and Brandon Grugel, and the art is by Jessica E. Boyd. If you just cannot get enough of the show, there's a couple of different things that you can do. First off, you can find us on social media. We're at Newest Olympian on Instagram and other places, but Instagram is where we're most active. You can also support the show on Patreon. TheNewestOlympian.com/Patreon is where you get access to bonus episodes, director's commentaries, behind-the-scenes looks in the pod, as well as our Discord. It's a phenomenal community with lots of wonderful TNO listeners. You can get access to that. The TNO Patreon is also where you can get live show replays and other digital goodies. But you can also go to thenewsolympian.com/merch to rep the show with some physical and digital merch as well. Speaking of the Patreon, let's give a shout out to our producer level patrons in the Olympic court level of the Patreon. So shout out to Kelsey Gillespie, Vicky Garcia, Frida, Megan Moon, Polly Burge, Nikki Harris, Tatiana Schmidt, Sam Reeby, Mrs. O'Leary, Milo Kim, Sandkoff, Rayla Matthews, Sky Mallory, Mick Walters, Grace, Bradimus Prime, Skylar Sisters, Scott Sheldon, Ann M. Thayer Cohen, Bella, Percy Jackson, Kit Kat Crumbs, Andrea, not Andrea, Terry Rothfuzz, Certified Ghost King's emotional support friend, Lee Hartley, Marco Redhouse, and Raccoon Moon 149. If you want to support the show in a non-monetary way, word of mouth is huge, goes a long way for podcast growth. So you could talk about the show with someone directly, you could post about it on social media, you could leave us a rating and review on whatever podcasting app you're using. All these things really do help. I appreciate anyone who has done it in the past or will do it in the future. But I'm just so thankful that you tuned into this episode, and I hope you tune into our next episode, where we'll be joined by Michael Hollis to break down chapters 49, 50, and a little bit of 51 of the House of Hades. But until then, I'll see you later. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's me, ASMR Mike. I can't remember exactly what I took a voice memo of recently for an ASMR Mike segment, but I know I did something. At the time of recording, I can't recall, but I'll put it in here, and that'll be the ASMR Mike segment. Yes, it was me at Game 4 of the NBA Finals, which was a historic comeback, the largest finals comeback in NBA history, with my beloved New York Knicks winning the game. And if you can hear, the audio keeps like changing the microphone, I think because it was so loud that my iPhone was confused. But anyway, thank you so much for listening.